Hey, how you doing? I'm Tim Holtz, Creative Director for Ranger Industries, and I am here with the world-renowned, famous, infamous Suze Weinberg.
Hi.
How's it going, Suze?
It's going great, Tim. How's it going with you?
It's going really well. Hey,
Good.
Excited today that you have stopped by to take us through the melting pot.
I think everybody needs to know about just the pot in general.
Yeah, so the pot, all the embossing powders, all the cool things, Suze, the professional, is going to take us through. All right, so this is the melting pot.
This is it.
All right, so take us through.
Well, it's a beautifully ergonomically designed apparatus with handles that you can hold. You can put your fingers
that
through.
Get hot.
That does not get hot.
All right.
It comes with a lid, which is packed in the box, so you want to be really careful you don't throw that part of the box away. It comes with a temperature control, which is variable like you would find on an iron.
Oh, all right, so you just slide it. Okay.
Right, and the hottest setting would be your ultra-thick embossing enamel or UD setting, and a little bit lower would be for wax and other low-temp melting products like glue and so on, candles, soap.
Okay. Now, I noticed when you were turning it on and off that lights were...
Right, so the green light will come on to let you know it's powered up.
All right.
But the red light will come on much the same as an iron does. It cycles. So when it reaches the desired temperature, the red light will turn off. If it goes below that temperature, the red light, it needs to recycle again. And when the red light comes on, you know you've hit that temperature.
So like you said, just like
like an iron.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
Now, the pan that you're looking at here is built into the pot. This does not come out. The heating element is housed underneath the melting pot.
Okay.
So, of course, once this is on and heated, you never want to put your fingers in it. Right, it gets very, very hot.
Now, is it a non-stick coating that's in there?
So this is a Teflon coating.
Okay, cool.
This is a wonderful Teflon coating, and what I like to do before I use it to heat UD is to preheat it by turning it all the way up, and I cover it. And that doesn't hurt it in any way, and I let it preheat for about 5 minutes.
Okay.
And then when I put my powder in, it begins to melt very quickly.
All right. So I do have a question, though.
Yes.
Because I see that that's built in, but then I also see this that was
Right.
So tell us a little bit about that.
This is an extra. This is a project pan.
Okay.
And this is designed to fit exactly into the built-in pan, and of course you always want to place it in a pan that's in a pot that's clean, nothing in the surface.
Right.
This project pan was designed to use especially with low melt products. For example, beeswax, perfect.
Right.
And then when you're done, you simply turn off the pot, you wait for it to cool down, and then you will remove the project pan, and the wax may still be in it. And you put it aside, and when you're ready to use it again, you place it back into your melting pot, turn it on, and everything will reconstitute.
That's cool.
No wastage.
So the melting pot, we've got, obviously, UD, embossing powder. You talked about beeswax, but you can bake things in this as well?
Absolutely. You can use this as an oven, per se. If you put your project pan in, it's great for baking polymer clay.
Oh, cool.
So when you're crafting and you're out on a trip somewhere with your friends, you have the ability to do embossing powders, waxes, polymer clays, anything that you like, you can do in this melting pot.
All in the melting pot. Well, that's cool. All right. Well, then let's take a look at all the things that we can put into the melting pot. Right. I was really fascinated by what ultra thick is, because I always thought it was something just totally different, but it's embossing powder, right?
It's just a very thick granule of embossing powder, and you need less of it when you put it in your melting pot than you would of regular embossing powder, but you can melt regular embossing powder in here as well. And it's really important to mention that you always want to work on the nonstick craft sheet, and you always want to use the correct tools, one of which would be the Cool Tools spatula. It's a nonstick. It is a heat-resistant spatula. So this is the only tool you ever want to stir anything with in your melting pot.
All right. Now, did you paint your nails to match the Cool Tool?
Always.
Okay.
Cool Tool nails.
See, I see that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's all about marketing. I love it.
Absolutely.
All right. So I can see that you poured in the ultra thick and it's melting. Now it's melting clear because you poured in clear.
Correct.
All right.
But clear has a little bit of a tendency, the way sugar would when you cook it for a really long time.
All right.
It tends to turn a little bit of that amber color.
Oh, right. Well, of course. Yeah.
And actually, it's kind of a beautiful shade because it's got that very antique, very vintage look to it. So sometimes I let it overcook purposely.
Oh, that's good. All right. So as it's melting, I mean, so you just kind of let it do its thing. Can we mix it up right now?
I don't like to mix it now because it actually contains a lot of air in there as it's melting. In fact, I generally just put the lid on and ignore it.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Out of sight, out of mind. Right. But just in the interest of a video so that people can see what's going on, the most stirring, per se, that I do is to tip it a little bit, bringing the powder sort of into the center, which is the hottest part of the pot. But I don't stir, because all it does is conjure up a lot of witch's brew. You get a lot of bubbles, and you really don't want air bubbles.
Right.
However, if you get a lot of air bubbles and that bothers you, you take your Ranger heat tool, and you just can wand over the surface very gently, and it will burst all your bubbles for you. So if you want to have a color that you can see through, which would be sort of like a stained glass color, then we have a set of 6 beautiful dyes, water-based dyes, called To Die For. And they come in 6 colors, all of which, primaries and hots, are intermixable. So, for example, if you mix the blue and the yellow, you will get a shade of green different than the green it comes in. And my favorite mixture is to take 1 drop of blue and 2 or 3 drops of the magenta to make the Melt Art purple color.
What a surprise. All right. Well, cool. Well, take us through and kind of show us how that works, if you don't mind.
Okay. So this is not a dye that is very loose. It's got a little bit of a thickness to it. And now that all my powder has melted, now I'm allowed to stir. So you're going to stir very gently to integrate the color. You'll notice you get a little bit of air bubbles, which is okay, because again, you can take your heat tool and you can just wand over the surface. Some people like to leave it in this kind of marbly color.
That looks cool.
And I'm one that likes to completely mix it.
Kind of mix it up. Now, Now, the To Die Fors, I mean, you talked about putting it in the melting pot. Is this just a re-inker, or is this just a...
No. This is not a re-inker. This is definitely a solvent dye. This is a heat-safe dye. So this is the only dye that you should ever put in the melting pot. Never put any alcohol inks in there.
Definitely not.
Nothing like that. Just To Die For.
All right. Well, I know you're going to take us through and show us some of the finished pieces, but let's kind of wrap this up and say, all right, so if you're done, if I'm finished using the melting pot, do I just put it away like this, or?
Your options are you may turn it off and leave this in here exactly the way it is. If you know tomorrow you want to come back and use this again, you simply turn it on, it reconstitutes. So again, no wastage. Your other option would be to do something with it so that you've used it up, or you can take your Cool Tool spatula and you can pour it out on your craft sheet. And then clean out your pot with a wad of paper towels while the pot is still on.
Oh, that's a much easier way to do that.
And then you can start fresh, because if you're going to put a color in here and then use it for clear, you want to make sure that your pot is absolutely clean.
Cool. And then I know, of course, from using this, once this cools, if you wanted to, you just...
We can throw it back in and remelt it again.
Outstanding. Cool.
So really, there's never any wastage with UD.
That's great. Well, thanks for the walkthrough, because I think that, you know, a lot of people have questions on this whole product, and sometimes they're a little intimidated, but I think just going through the ropes with you, you really answered a lot of questions.
Nothing to be intimidated about. Great tool. Everyone should have one.
Thanks,
Or
Suze.
2.
Love it.
You'll notice there are 15 colors, beautiful colors, of ultra-thick embossing enamel. And if we add in clear, that makes 16. And we have wonderful metallics, bronze, platinum, gold. We have black and white. We even have a wonderful, interesting color called interference blue. We have pearl, which is a personal favorite of mine, red poppy, tiger lily, sunflower, green zinnia, the new spruce green, blue iris, fuchsia, and violet. That violet is so exquisite.